If you love classic contemporary Christian music and the people that made it, please like this video and subscribe to our channel to help support us and keep us going. This is Stage Right, and I am your host, John Thorne. They say if you die with a handful of friends, you die a rich man. Well, I have several buses full, and I'm very excited to share them all with you. Welcome to Stage Right. I am your host, John Thorne. Happy New Year. This is our first episode back after the big vacation, long holiday break. I hope you had a fabulous holiday in Christmas and New Year. And hopefully 2021 will be a little bit better than 2020. Although, there was still good things about 2020. We are looking straight ahead. So my guest today was a huge part of the following. More power to you. Not of this world. Beat the system. Captured in time and space. Back to the street. This means war. On fire. Petra prays, the rock cries out. Beyond belief. Unseen power. Petra en alabanza. Wake up call. No doubt. Petra prays too, we need Jesus. God fixation. Double take. Revival. And back to the rock. Multiple Grammy Award winner. Multiple Dove Award winner. He won the CCM Readers Poll for Favorite Drummer 5 years in a row. He's one of the most recognizable people in the history of contemporary Christian music. Louie Weaver will be joining me here in just a few minutes. But before I bring Louie on, I wanted to say a few words about him. If you go to YouTube and search Louie Weaver from Petra, several drum solos will pop up. And you'll notice if you listen to those drum solos, the crowds are going crazy for him. And it's quite remarkable. A lot of the bands I played for, they used to say, why aren't crowds in Christian music as rowdy and crazy as they are in secular music? And I used to laugh and think, well, it's probably because they're not drunk or stoned. Usually when people lose their inhibitions, they get crazy. But I got to tell you, when you go search Louie's drum solos on YouTube, people are going absolutely nuts. Which brings me to this point. There wasn't always contemporary Christian music for the church to enjoy. There wasn't always music that spoke the word through song and encouraged believers in their everyday life. Louie was part of a movement of musicians that came along and said, we have talent, we have gifts, we love music, but we want to play for the Lord. And it's guys like Louie that contemporary Christian music was built on. People that have careers today, people for the last 30 years that have had careers, have built careers on the shoulders of people like Louie Weaver. And I'm so honored and thankful that Louie would take the time to be on my show today. 2020 has been kind of a rough year for Louie. For the last several years, he's been a tour coach driver for different bands and different tours. And this year, because the touring music business has come to a grinding halt, he's not only been home waiting for the thing to pick back up, he had a heart issue where he had to have a heart defibrillator put in, which now is going to prevent him from being able to go out and drive. So be praying for Louie and Penny that God just provides for them and takes care of them in this season of their life. And I want to thank Louie for just taking the time out during his recovery to want to stop and share some laughs and some stories and be on the show today with me. So Louie, God bless you, buddy. I love you, and I can't wait for everyone to hear the show today. But before I bring on Louie, here's a short word from our sponsor, Hey Rockstar.
Hey Rockstar provides digital marketing software and services to generate more leads, more exposure, and more revenue for your business or organization. Let Hey Rockstar amplify your awesomeness.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one of the funniest people I know and one of my favorite drummers, Mr. Louie Weaver. Louie, say hi to your people today.
Hello, how are you guys?
Dude, I can't thank you enough for doing this. So, I want to start at the very beginning for you because you came up through an era when drums weren't so popular, rock music wasn't so popular in the church, and all of that. What were your childhood musical influences? Who did you listen to?
My main childhood influence on drums was Buddy Rich.
Buddy Rich.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
did you ever get to see him play live?
I did. I did.
Tell me about
Uh,
that.
me and me and my dad went to the Exit Inn here in Nashville, early '70s,
Oh my goodness.
and we went and saw Buddy Rich play, and uh, yeah, even my dad, he'd yell, "Buddy Rich is on TV!" You know, and I'd run in there and watch Buddy Rich.
Oh, that's great.
My daddy was a drummer in his heart.
Hmm.
He would always get out pots and pans and stuff and have me beat on them to records. And we listened to a lot of Dixieland jazz when I was growing up.
So, did you have a favorite? Did he have a favorite, or did you just listen to all of it?
If I listened to a record with my dad, it was always the Harmonica Cats.
The Harmonic Cats. Cool.
And my dad played harmonica, the big ones.
Right, right.
And this is four cats who did like an orchestra, like a four-piece band, played different size, the bass harmonica, the tenor one, I guess you would call it. I don't know. Anyway, and my dad knew a couple of really good songs, and we'd force him to get his harmonica out when we had a lot of people over just to play songs for us, and he'd put it back up really quick.
Shy like you.
He didn't like to. He wasn't. Well, he did like to capture a room like I do,
Hmm.
but as far as entertain them, I just love everybody watching me and me doing what I do.
Right. And you got that from your dad.
I got it from my dad.
That's awesome. Your dad was such a great guy. I loved him, and he was so proud of you, dude. He was your biggest fan.
He and my mama both.
Yep.
And I remember mom and dad were at a Petra concert one time, and just so happened this she heard this. Isn't that drummer good? And mom, well, that's my son, you know.
Right.
And then they got to know him, and they're all excited because my mom is sitting beside him and during the concert.
That's fantastic.
I forgot what city that was in.
I'm sure it felt good having him close and having him involved in your career and being proud of you and stuff like that. So, what other music did you and your dad, or did you listen to, or what other influences did you have drum wise?
In college, I really like Chicago because I like Danny Seraphin
Hmm.
and Billy Cobham
Oh wow,
was a really
he was great.
major influence on where I took my drumming uh, because of the band Good Grief we had with Paul Brannon and Tommy Bowles and Alan Holmes
Hmm.
and some guys I knew at Tribeca, and we played as off the wall as we could.
Oh man.
And Sam Tritico, I don't know if you remember Tritico Music,
Yep.
the music store here, and it was in Nashville for years when you were here.
Sure. Yep.
But Sam is in the band too, and uh, I really loved watching Rod Morgenstein with the Dixie Dregs.
Okay, so tell me about your church background when you were growing up. Where did you guys go to church?
In high school, I went to Woodlawn. I think it was called Woodmont Baptist Church. It's on at the corner of Thompson Lane and Murfreesboro Road.
Oh wow.
And I attended that church when I'd go to Florida to visit my best friend Terry Langford, and I'd go to a Nazarene church down there, and then right after high school, we started going to First Church of the Nazarene, and golly, I've been there for 50 something years.
Wow. That's awesome.
You know, that's where my kids grew up going to church.
Right.
You know,
Now, was your Nazarene church, did it have a contemporary band? Because back then, drums weren't big in church.
well, yeah, we had we called it mock.
Oh, cool.
There were books put out by the church about
Mm-hmm.
to do choirs and it was kind of a break off of the idea of hair.
Right.
Only it was a Christian thing,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, did that quite a bit. And you know, I was still playing with so-called secular groups. As a matter of fact, I remember I was doing secular things like playing dances and all that when I was at Trevecca, and they didn't know about it. But you
Right.
know, I didn't do it a lot, but I would go play with if we'd get a gig. I remember going and playing a dance at Vanderbilt University for one of the fraternities my cousin. He was the lead guitar player and the band we had. But other than that, I really from early on from high school, I knew I wanted to be in a Christian rock band, but actually there was no such thing.
Right.
So I basically just waited around, and for my heart and mind, it was all over when Petra came to play. I think it was 77 or 78
Oh, my goodness.
at Trevecca, and God told me I was going to be the drummer, and I think 3 years later I was.
When you saw him play at
So
Trevecca, do you remember who the drummer was?
you know, I don't remember what the drummer's name was. It wasn't the original drummer. They
Right.
had a lot of drummers, and even when after Bob moved to Nashville, there was so many guys
Hmm.
that played a few gigs with Petra, and their claim to fame was, I was the drummer for Petra.
Right.
Okay, whatever. And uh, uh,
That's that's hilarious.
in my eyes, there's Louie Weaver and the rest of them.
Right. I think that's the case with most people. I think most people feel like that about Petra. It was Louie Weaver and then everybody else.
Well, I've come to admit it, and if you can't admit it, fine. But that's the way it was.
Right.
You know, I'm the one that helped put Petra on the map and out in the eyes of people, and I'm the one they remember.
Right.
Everybody else is just hearsay.
Right.
And I don't mean that mean, and I'm not trying to be selfish, cocky, if you want to use that word. And uh, I'm just saying it like it is.
Right. Right.
You know,
Any Petra fan knows that's the case too.
I agree with that. I had a guy that was my personal manager. He would tell me all the time, Louie, everybody remembers you whether they remember anybody else in this band.
Okay, so let's go back real quick and before we put a bow on this part of the story. So you saw them play and you felt like God say you're going to be the drummer. What did you do after that to make it happen?
Nothing. I was just carried on and did what God told me to do, and I was playing with this other band called Good Grief, and uh, and then we went on to be the Chuck McLeod band
Oh, cool.
um, later on, and when that band ceased to be, actually the guy, our lead singer, was Chuck McLeod,
Right.
and he just came up to me one day and he said, Louie, God told me that you're going to be the drummer for Petra one day if you just wait.
Wow.
And
That's cool.
I knew that was exactly right because God told me the same thing.
Right.
So all I did was wait, you know. And I had, my cousin who went off to LA to make it, went through so many bands, and I saw the gimmick costumes and other friends who went to New York too, and they all went off with visions to make it.
Right.
And the vision to make it meant nothing to me other than what's God want me to do. If
Right.
God wants me to do something, and that's harder to accept as a 69-year-old guy. Now I've lost half of our family's income is gone.
Right.
Now at 69, I need some income.
Right.
What the heck do I do? But I gotta just wait for God, I guess. and it applies now. I just waited on God, and one day, you know, Bob and Greg needed somebody to play 2 shows with them. I said, I don't know anybody, but I'll go do it.
Hmm.
After the first show, Bob and Greg said, Louie, you want to stay in the band? I said, no, thanks. Right. Yeah. You know,
Right.
that's all it took.
That's crazy, dude. That's remarkable. Okay, so you joined Petra in 1981, and you have all those great records: Beat the System, No Doubt, Wake Up Call, Beyond Belief, Petra Praise 1 and 2. Out of all of those albums, which one was your favorite? What was your favorite time period?
Beat the System.
Beat the System. That was a great, great record.
And then Beyond Belief was
Wow.
right neck and neck almost.
Crazy.
Still Beat the System is the top thing for me.
That's awesome.
And my heart is so into the lineup we got back with Petra for Classic Petra, which was Bob, Mark, Johnny, me, and Greg.
So how long were you guys together the first time?
Not very long, because Greg quit the next year, and Johnny was in and out in '85. So, a couple of years.
Wow, that's all. That's pretty crazy to think about. So back then when you guys were going out and doing shows, there were a lot of churches picketing and a lot of Christians that didn't accept rock music. Did that ever bother you or anybody in the band?
I didn't think a thing about it.
Right.
It didn't bother me until one day only 2 places I remember. Two was this other place you might have been with us.
Yep. I remember that.
It was in California somewhere.
Yeah.
And somebody told me there were picketers outside. What?
Uh-huh.
So I went outside and I went amongst them and started asking, what did we do?
Right.
Oh, you're of the devil. I said, you don't know me personally. Well, you don't believe it. I said, what do you know about what I believe? Have you talked to me? Have you asked me? Here I am.
Right.
I said, I don't believe anything different than that Jesus is my Lord and Savior, and we're singing about him.
Right.
So you say I'm of the devil? Can you prove that?
Well, yeah, but don't let the facts get in the way, Louie.
I just kind of like it. No, yeah. Kind of like today. Don't let the facts get in the way.
Kind of like today.
If you're going to have a good, hard hate, use it to the fullest.
Exactly. All right. So in all of your years of Petra and all the shows, how many shows do you think you played with Petra?
1,000?
Oh, dude, it's got to be way more than 1,000.
I'd say over 2,000.
At least.
Because, there was a time when Penn said I was on the road 280.
Mm-hmm.
There were quite a few years when I was on the road 280 days a year.
Right.
And we played weekly concerts every day.
Yeah.
We didn't have off days.
No. So out of all those shows, do you have a most memorable that you played?
Disney World.
Oh, man, weren't those fun? Night of Joy.
Yep, Night of Joy.
Yeah, I remember one year I played Night of Joy with Margaret Becker, and you guys were playing out in front of the castle.
I only not played in front of the castle one other time.
Yeah.
And it was later years, and we played Tomorrowland or something.
The one right next to Space Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I would normally ask someone, hey, do you have a favorite city or a favorite place you like to go visit? But since you and John Schlitt didn't leave your hotel rooms, let me ask you this, Louie. Did you have a favorite hotel room over all those years?
Yeah, when we were at Disney World.
Of course, you and that mouse. It was always a blast playing at Disney. They were always so good to us. And speaking of, let's just go here since we're already here. What is up with you and Mickey Mouse? Tell everyone how you became known for Mickey Mouse and your love for Mickey.
I actually, and somebody, I was telling how wearing the Mickey Mouse shirt drew people to me.
Right.
In a certain way that I liked. And I always was kind of fond of the mouse. And I think one of my hero drummers, I saw Billy Cobham wearing a Mickey Mouse shirt one day. And I just started wearing a Mickey Mouse shirt all the time. And I saw that it really drew people to me. And I wanted something that would let me be able to establish a rapport with them. Mm-hmm. So I could go anywhere I wanted to. And the conversation could lead to Jesus anytime. Well, it always did because, that's why they were listening to me
Right.
and to Petra. It gave me an image that nobody could misconstrue.
There's nothing threatening about Mickey Mouse.
No, absolutely not.
And it's very conversational. Everyone loves to go to Disney World.
Exactly. I'd like to go there right now if I could get off this phone.
Oh, okay. So lots of people, lots of guys especially, but even women love cars. Lots of people have really cool car stories, but you have one of the coolest car stories ever. Tell everyone the story when you bought your dream Porsche and the lengths you went to get it.
Okay. Well, it was 84. I used to have a Porsche Spider model. And from high school, I said, man, I'd really like to have a Porsche. And then they made the entry level 924, and then they came out with the 944. And at the time, it was the rave.
Yes, it was.
And you couldn't get a better car for the buck than a 944. And I thought, well, I've only had a van in my that I bought, and I'll just start saving my money and down payment. I can make those payments, which were only $500 a month when I bought the car.
Right.
And I decided, well, I'll just start saving. I'll have my down payment, and bought the car and did a European delivery. And Penny and I went to Germany and just drove on the Autobahn for a week, having fun.
If I remember correctly, you told me you drove it off the assembly line, like out of the factory.
Yes, I did. Yeah, they had it. It was just sitting at the Stuttgart factory, right? It was in this huge room with a bunch of white 911s. Was my red 944 turbo.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I went in there and they told me what to do, and they said, just drive it. Try not to go over 6,000 RPMs for the first 1,000 miles, so you break the engine in good. But anything you break anything on this car, we'll fix it before we ship it to the States for you.
Oh my goodness!
And so I drove it around a week, and I had an Alan Parsons Project song set up, ready to put in the tape player. I pushed it in and popped that sucker up to about 100 miles an hour, and was cruising down the interstate. On my way back to the airport to pick Penny up because she flew in on a different flight, and then we just had a week vacation in Europe.
I love that you did that so no one else would drive your car. You'd be the only guy to drive your car. So when you got the car home, did you have any memorable trips with Penny in the 0944?
I remember driving down the interstate late at night, Penny and I going down to Florida. And I'm sitting on about 120 down lower I-75, almost down to Naples. And she wakes up and she looks over and she goes, "Are we having fun?" I go, "Yeah."
Yeah. We are having fun.
We are having fun.
Well, she must have trusted you. You must have been a good driver. She's sleeping at 120.
Oh, yeah. You couldn't feel 120 in that car feels like 80 on
Right.
everybody's everyday car now.
Right.
I never got it over 130 miles an hour on the Autobahn in Germany.
Oh, wow. 130, though, is moving, dude. That's scooting along.
At 130, I was creeping up on 6,000 RPM. And, I had more RPMs to go, but they told me, 6,000 RPMs, but don't drive it over 120. I did 130.
Right. 130's moving.
And I never drove it over 130, even when I got it back home. So
I think that's my favorite I bought my dream car story of all time. So let's move on to this. Do you remember when we were in Lubbock, Texas, and we were playing the fairgrounds? They had no catering, they had no lunch or anything, no dinner, and we were on our own. Well, once the crowd started lining up for the show, you didn't want to go down the way and buy cheeseburger and french fries because you didn't want to walk out in public and have people recognize you right before the show and stuff. So you were getting frustrated and you were hungry and starring in that Snickers commercial we all know. And I said to you, look, I'll get you some dinner. Just give me a break. I'm sorry there's no catering, but I'll take care of you if you just start the show. So then about the third song I walked up on stage and I set him on your floor, Tom. And I said, Now there's some food. Now get over it.
Yeah, I think I do.
And so in between songs, you were eating a cheeseburger and everybody in the crowd started laughing and Schlitt turned around and said, Louie, is that a cheeseburger?
Well, I did a lot of things Slit and didn't like, but what was he going to do about it?
What was he going to do about it? Right.
Were you with us when we were playing somewhere in Michigan and we did an encore and I grabbed Louie and got back up on the drums and I played the encore with Louie sitting in my lap?
I was.
I thought you were.
Yes. I remember that.
John had a fit. I told him to get over that too.
So I think about you a lot, but 2020, Louie, you have been on my mind about 12 times a day, every day since the pandemic hit, because you, my friend, were the one that introduced me to antibacterial gel back in 1997. So do you remember that?
No.
One night you showed up at the bus and you had this bottle of stuff and you're like, here, hold your hands out. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm not going to hold my hands out. And you're like, oh, come on. And I'm like, I don't trust you. And you're like, no, watch. And you did it to yourself and you put some in your hand and you rubbed it around and it evaporated. So then I did it. You were the guy, seriously. So this whole pandemic, every time I use hand gel, I think of you.
Oh my goodness. 'Cause, I mean, we hand gel constantly, Penn and I.
Right. I'm the same way. Hey, I actually think that it should be considered by Congress that every time someone uses hand sanitizer, Louie Weaver is paid a royalty. Oh, do you remember when we had a night off in Phoenix and we went over
Yes.
to Mike Moore's
Yes.
house?
And what was it? A truck driver or base?
Yep.
He went off to the
Truck driver.
a club,
A certain club. Yes, he did.
and we all fussed at him
Yes.
when we went to see Mike Moore's house.
Yes, because the dummy would rather go to a club than go hang out with a Major League Baseball player.
Yeah, I remember that as if it was yesterday.
Huge cookout. We hung out in the dining room and looked at his World Series rings and stuff for a couple hours. Then he took us out back and showed us thousands of scorpions on his cement block wall because they were getting on the wall for heat.
Oh
It
yeah.
was out in the desert. And so at night when the sun would go down, the scorpions would climb up on his wall. It was crazy. Tim Burke, who pitched for the Yankees, was a friend of mine. And Tim actually hooked me up with Mike. And I took him some Whiteheart stuff one time to Tiger Stadium. So that night when we got to Phoenix and had that night off and you said to me, hey, we're all going over to Mike Moore's house to hang out tonight. Do you want to go? I was like, what? You know Mike? I know Mike. That's so cool. That was a blast, dude.
Yes.
So out of all of the people that you've met and the experiences you've had, give me the top three. What are the top three most memorable people or moments that you've had?
Playing Disney World and Mickey Mouse coming to the dressing room to see me.
Mickey actually came to the dressing room to see you.
He did.
That is so fantastic. I wish I would have been there with a video camera.
One of my best friends was the manager of all the mascots.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so all she had to do was say it was going to happen, and it did happen.
Oh man.
The second would be meeting Brent Jones, the tight end for the 49ers, and him calling me at 3:00 in the morning a few nights before the Super Bowl, say, "Hey Louie, you're going to the Super Bowl. I got your ticket."
That is so cool, dude. That's like once in 10 lifetimes.
Yeah, when they played the 49ers and Steve Young
Yep.
won the Super Bowl for him. Anyway, Jerry Rice was catching passes under his leg.
Yeah, he
I
was.
mean, he was stupid.
Yep.
The Chargers had no chance,
Nope.
and that could have possibly been the Dolphins.
It should have been the Dolphins.
They beat the Dolphins to get there.
Do you remember how Miami lost that game?
No.
Stoyanovich, there was a high snap, and Stoyanovich missed a 48-yard field goal with 1 second left.
That's right.
Okay, you and I, Louie, we could talk football, we could talk Dolphins all day long, every day. But let's wrap this top three thing up. You gave me two. What's your third most memorable moment or most memorable person you met?
We were playing up in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were up in Edmonton,
Oh, cool.
and it was my birthday.
Ah, great.
And the band brought in Penn
Oh, no
and
way.
surprise to me during the concert. Well, we have a special guest here to see Louie,
Oh,
and Penn walked up on stage,
dude, that's awesome.
and we got to share that moment together,
How cool.
and it was just really great.
Dude, that is so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Louie, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to do this. I know you haven't been feeling well lately. You're recovering from surgery and stuff, but I appreciate you doing this so much.
It's great that you never lost my number.
It is great that I never lost your number.
But your number changed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, my number changed when I left Nashville.
Well, can you imagine? My number hasn't changed in 30 years.
Well, you probably got a cell phone the day they came out, and I didn't.
You didn't have a cell phone in the 90s?
Barely. Like, I had one a couple different times, but I never wanted people to be able to get a hold of me that bad. I just figured I'd see everybody. If I wanted to see them, I'd just swing by and see them.
I'll even go as far as to say, this is the only cell number I've ever had.
Oh, now that's remarkable.
Verizon was something else before it changed into Verizon,
Mm-hmm.
and we just kept our numbers.
Wow, that's cool. Makes it easy for your friends.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like change.
No, I don't either. You know, the one thing I wish they would have told me when I was 18, I wish they would have told me, not only are things going to change, everything is going to change.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, it feels like the world is upside down from when we were 18.
I wish if I'd known everything was going to change so drastically, I think I would have put more effort into enjoying what I was doing.
Right on, dude. I'm riding shotgun with you on that one. Hey, real quick before I let you go, why is it you won't be able to drive coach anymore for those tours?
You know, somebody can have a heart attack and go have an operation on their heart, but they can still keep their CDL.
Mm-hmm.
I have a defibrillator and I can't.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, if I was just on a medicine, I'd be fine.
Oh, my goodness.
But I have to, when I have a little electronic box that my doctor monitors me every day for the rest of my life.
Well, I'm glad they caught it, and I'm also glad they're keeping a close eye on you and taking good care of you. Well, Louie, I'm going to let you go, buddy. I know that you went over and above today to spend time with us. Please tell Penny I love her, and I miss you guys. And the next time I get down that way, I'm going to come and see you. So Happy New Year, my friend.
Yeah, well, call us, please come and come see us. All right? You know, my door's it swings both ways. I mean, just come on. It doesn't matter. If we're home, we're home.
Right.
Really. Call up, say, Lou, come on see you. Okay.
Well, next time I get down there, I'm going to give you a yell.
Okay.
All right, buddy.
Please do.
I love you, man. It's good talking to you and great catching up with you.
You too, man. I'm glad you thought of me. I hope the interview is enjoyable to whoever takes time to listen.
Right on, bud. All right, dude. Let me know if you need something, if there's something I can do for you.
Okay. You too. Love you, man.
I love you too. Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Hey Rockstar provides digital marketing software and services for your church to generate more interest, create more exposure, and reach more people. Let Hey Rockstar amplify the awesomeness of your ministry. And, as always, Hey Rockstar is a proud sponsor of the Stage Right with John Thorne podcast.
My thanks to you today for tuning in and listening. Thank you, Louie Weaver, for being my special guest. And thank you, Hey Rockstar, for sponsoring. I will see you next Thursday. Have a fantastic week.